This Mexico side, Javier Aguirre has come in and has really stabilized things. Only 2 losses he's had in the 15 games since he took charge of this team once again for the second time.
An interesting narrative coming into this one. There has been a bit of a gap, hasn't there, Stefano, between the end of the group stages and the start of these knockouts. For a team like the US, who obviously had built up finally a bit of momentum, they got through those 3 matches, played pretty well. We'd seen a look at some of these fringe players. To have that enforced break potentially could hurt them.
Yeah, maybe. I think that it's more important at this point, especially with the amount of games that these guys are playing, that maybe it's okay to have a day or 2 off. I don't think it'll ruin momentum too much. Yeah, I'm sure if you ask the players, they want to get back on the pitch. Yeah. But I think they're thinking long term. I think it's okay to have these guys rest a little bit. It's going to be it's already been a long season. It's going to have a short break, and the season's going to start up again. So it is good to kind of give them a break. It's all right.
Potential banana skin for the US to get through this game, because it's not going to be the easiest one. Costa Rica have performed pretty well, and they have beaten the US in the past.
Yeah, and they have a belief now with Piojo Herrera and the players that they've been able to kind of put together that have been playing together for quite some time. And that front duo, I think, will give this U.S. team a hard time. I think it's more about the belief for Costa Rica and the desire to go out and fight and make this a very difficult game. And obviously this man is going to be very difficult to beat, no matter who is in front of him for Costa Rica or...
apparently he's quite the barber. Did you see that on Morning Footy? He was cutting the players' hair over the last few years.
It's going to be tough for the U.S. without a doubt. I do think that they have the talent to beat this team, but it will not be easy. This is a team that has a lot of desire to defeat the United States and has a manager that will push them till that very end and really push them to that effort to get them to find some kind of result in this game.
Mexico have got a point to prove against the Saudis. You would have them as slight favourites in that one. Remember what happened at the World Cup in 2022 in Qatar? Obviously, they were eliminated on goal difference. There was that late goal for the Saudis, and if Mexico had managed to score another one or not conceded that goal, they would have got through to the knockout stages at the World Cup. So for them, this is about a bit more than just the Gold Cup this year, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. They'll be thinking about that without a doubt from that World Cup. I think that they believed that they deserved to take the next step and to get into the knockout stage. And that late goal by Saudi Arabia really turned things around for them. This Mexico side, Javier Aguirre has come in and has really stabilized things. Only 2 losses he's had in the 15 games since he took charge of this team once again for the second time. Or is it a third time? I think it might be the 3rd time that Javier Aguirre is in charge of Mexico. They have some belief now. They do have a little bit of where they understand their roles a little bit better. Things are more defined. Developmentally, I think that Mexico is still in a bit of a crisis, but at least with the players that they have now for this competition in the Gold Cup, they feel like they are back to being the top of CONCACAF and can truly compete to win this trophy. I do think that they'll handle Saudi Arabia well. I think a part of that will be that 2022 World Cup and thinking about that revenge, but I think that they are positioned in a place now that they can come out and win this game and possibly win this tournament.
Would you have Mexico as favourites to win the Gold Cup this year?
Currently, yes, I do. I think that they are still, I think they're back to being the class of CONCACAF. At least with this version of the U.S. men's national team, Canada is close, but I think that there's enough belief and enough of a defined roles with this Mexico side that they can now consider themselves favorites.
You said Canada are close. They're taking on Guatemala, so they're in that good part of the draw, obviously, yes. the one that everyone wanted. Would you have them as the dark horse, potentially, if Mexico don't win it, that it could come from Canada? They'd have to get past the U.S. in the semis if both of them win.
I don't consider them a dark horse because I think that they're in the contenders. I think that the Canada has enough. Again, similar to Mexico, I think they've had their star players perform. Jonathan David obviously leading the line for them. Other players that have been involved in that team as well that have really shown out. Mathieu Choinier in the midfield, I think, has been massive for them. Obviously, Tejan Buchanan doing his thing, scoring a goal as well in their last game. Canada is a team that, again, has a clear way of how they're going to play. They don't try to, Jesse Marsch does not try to complicate things with his style. He doesn't try to put them in positions that maybe are not going to be able to succeed, where their football is too complicated or where they try to build out of the back. They understand the way that they want to play. They understand who are the guys up front that are going to have to do the dirty business to score goals. And I think that because it's so defined, they'll have the confidence moving forward on this side of the bracket, even against a potential matchup with the United States.
And 9 goals scored and just the 1 conceded has been pretty good so far from Canada. And for this man, you do get the sense that Jesse Marsch is learning as these international competitions continue.
He is, and I mean, look, let's be let's be frank. He wants to win this first game, and he wants to face the U.S., and he wants to face his home nation, the federation that decided against him to be the national team coach. There'll be a little bit extra if that is the semifinal matchup, Canada-USA. There'll be a little extra for Jesse Marsh to try to push this team forward for so many reasons, but specifically because he wants to beat that team that didn't give him that job. And he has the players that believe in him. And like you said, 9 goals scored, 1 conceded. They're doing the right things right now. And when they play against this little bit of a better competition, I still think they have enough.
And the fourth quarter-final, just quickly, Panama against Honduras. Who do you see coming through that one?
Panama, I mean, we're all kind of forgetting what happened with Panama last time they played the U.S. This is a team that, again, this would be my dark horse. I don't think that Panama's up to that level to make this run and win the Gold Cup, but we have seen them have success before. They have the belief in that win against the United States, so it'll be interesting to see. I think Panama moves on.
Okay, we both picked our brackets, projected through, a bit of bracketology. We'll start with mine and US fans. Sadly, I've got you heading out at the quarter-final stage, losing to Costa Rica. I think Mexico are going to come through. I think they will get their revenge against Saudi Arabia for that World Cup a couple of years ago in Qatar. They'll get through to the semi-finals. As we said, Panama, I can't see them losing against Honduras. They'll be through into the semis to face Mexico. And then I've got the US losing against Costa Rica. I think this is where they get their comeuppance a little bit. They've got through these matches, but haven't quite, I'm going to say, flattered to deceive.
Why? Why do you think that the US can't beat a team like Costa Rica? We know that they have talent, but shouldn't U.S. still be able to win this game?
They should be. I should be. I just don't think Mauricio Pochettino has quite figured it out. And you know, they did manage to get through the group stages relatively unscathed and performed well. And we saw some of those players that are going to play a part at the World Cup, maybe not necessarily in the starting lineup, have stepped up. But I just think they were so weak in those friendlies, particularly against Switzerland coming in. I think this is a team that's potentially a little bit frail mentally, and the pressure will be on them. Canada, I've got them easily beating Guatemala, getting through against Costa Rica, but then I think it does end for Jesse Marsh's side there. Mexico beating Panama to get to the final, and then I've got Mexico winning the competition. What have you gone for?
Similar, but different. I will say that I have the U.S. Wait to get there. It is. I have the U.S. going through against Costa
so we got
Rica.
the same winner.
Same winner. I still have Mexico winning the Gold Cup. I still think that the U.S. has enough. Now, this is all, context is important, and a lot of times we have this conversation about the U.S. men's national team without context. This is the B team. There's no other way to say it, and I'm not trying to be, not trying to be mean here to the players that are. This is the B team, and even though some of the A team players really didn't show the effort in those friendlies leading up to this tournament, there is still a quality gap when you're talking about the U.S. men's national team. I think Costa Rica isn't disciplined enough, and I think that the U.S. can squeak a win out of Costa Rica to make it to the semifinals. I have Canada easily winning against Guatemala. Mexico is going to go look to destroy Saudi Arabia after what happened in the World Cup, and the belief that this team has. Panama moves on as well. And then, yeah, I have Canada and Jesse Marsh defeating the United States in that game. And I think that that's going to be a huge moment for Canadian football. And I think that it's something that they're kind of looking forward because they have the stability. This is the team for Canada that you expect to see in the World Cup, largely. And for the U.S., that's not the team that's going to be in the World Cup. So it's simple. I do think that Canada has the better team in this tournament. Mexico, Canada in the final. And I think Mexico with a big-time support edge as far as crowd is concerned, and they win the Gold Cup.
You're doing it for the TV ratings of that semi-final. All the TV executives are looking forward to that one. Can the US win it? Do you think they could win the Gold Cup this year?
I would put it at less than 20% chance for them to win because I don't think that this is the strongest team. I think that this is the team that will give the most effort. They won't go down. I don't think that they'll be blown out in any of these games if they even make the final. I think it'll be a battle. But I think that the gap in quality when you're talking about the top team for the U.S. versus this team versus the two biggest competitions in Mexico and Canada, I don't think it's enough.